Okay, thank you very much, Farouk. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening, because I'm here today, as I was telling you, that I'm in Miami now, because, well, I used to work in Madrid, but because of some new works, I have to be for some years here in Miami. But I'll be traveling from Miami to Madrid and to India, because, as you said, I have to produce. We're thinking about a TV series and 3 films about this amazing character, Anita Delgado and the Maharaja of Kapurthala. First of all, I would like to apologize if my English is not so fluent, because my mother language is Spanish, and maybe I can find the right words, but I'll try to do my best and try to speak slowly to make you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to introduce this amazing character, Anita Delgado, through cinema, because this is my way of life. And then I met the character a long time ago when I was producing another film, The Chess Player. It's about the Second World War. And the publishing company was talking to me about Anita Delgado and her life in India. Then I fell in love with this topic, and I said, well, this is an amazing story. It's a love story with a lot of ingredients, because we are going to see the whole story of the 22nd century, the 20th century in Spain, in Europe, and in India through the eyes of this woman. Anita Delgado, she was born in Malaga. Malaga is a beautiful city on the south coast of Spain, and she was living there with her family when they decided to move to Madrid. His family, they were broke because because some financial problems in Malaga. But she was very happy there. She was learning how to write, how to read, how to interpret, how to perform theater as well, because she loved theater. She loved dancing from when she was a child. This is important because later on in Madrid, she's going to start dancing with her sister, Victoria. They weren't very good flamenco dancer. I mean, people has written a lot. Oh, they were dancers, but they weren't very good at all. They learned some steps because, well, they were very funny and very beautiful girls in that period. And then a lot of intellectual people in Madrid, when they moved to Madrid, they were very happy with these girls, and they were taking care of them. At the beginning, it's true that the family wasn't very happy with this idea, because the father was very serious, but the mother was a little bit more open. Doña Candelaria, that was her mother's name, and the nanny Joaquina, she was helping the mother to make them dance in Madrid. It's true that the nanny has to go with them to the theater because they didn't want to leave then Victoria and Anita alone in the theater. Then they were taking care of them when they were dancing. The dance they did was between the main dancers of that period. In Spanish, it is called teloneras. It means people who are just entertaining people before the next famous singer. Imagine Lady Gaga, these big dancers or big singer, or Madonna. Then when they change dresses or that, then these girls, they were dancing flamenco, moving their hands, and well, they were very funny. Then they didn't know what the destiny was going to do with them when they arrived in Madrid. Then they were living next to the Puerta del Sol. This is a beautiful square in Madrid. And they were there in that moment when the Maharaja came, because the wedding of our king, Alfonso XIII, was going to take place. Then the Maharaja was coming from India because he was with the British princess, with the people from the British embassy. Then he came to Madrid, and then when he was going with his carriage to the palace to see our king, the carriage stopped. Just imagine destiny in front of Anita Delgado. That was in Puerta del Sol, this square I was telling you. Then they saw each other. Imagine the Maharaja looking at this girl. She was dressed in black. She was dressed in black because when people die in Spain, people normally, this is our custom, we dress black. I don't know if in India, I think you have another color, but in Spain is black. Then her grandmother died in Malaga. Then she was very sad. Then she was looking the parade of all the royals coming from different countries. That was the moment when they saw the first time. Then he looked at her, she looked at him. She was very scared because he saw a man very black with these white teeth, with a lot of jewelry. Imagine diamonds, emeralds. Then she didn't know where India was. She was very surprised because she thought that he was from Cuba, the only countries he heard in that moment, but she didn't know where India was. And then, well, that was the first moment. Then she went to the theater because they were organizing a lot of events during our wedding, the wedding of our king, Alfonso. Then the Maharaja and other royalties, they used to go to these theaters, plays, I mean, different places. And then when she was arriving at the theater, the Maharaja recognized her at the entrance of the theater. This is why I'm a film producer and we are producing this TV series, because this is very visual, all this, and it's very interesting for a movie, as you can see. Then he saw her and he was shouting at her, say, hey, hey, this is me. Then she was scared. And then when she saw him running behind her, she started to run. I mean, this is very funny. Imagine the richest man in the world, the Maharaja of Kapurthala, running behind Anita Delgado, and she was scared, running just to get rid of him in the theater. Then she arrived at the theater, and the owner of the theater said, what's happened, Anita? And then she said, well, a very strange man is following me. He's chasing me. I'm very afraid. And he said, no, no, Anita, he's the richest man in the world. He's the Maharaja of Kapurthala. Then she said, well, but I'm scared. Then, well, she was preparing. She was dressing for the dancing as a flamenco dancer. Then she started to dance with her sister. They have a group called Las Camelias. Then when she started to dance, they finished. And then, well, nobody was clapping because they weren't famous. The famous was Madonna, Lady Gaga of that moment. But Anita Delgado was a normal girl. She was 15 years old when she met the Maharaja. And I'm going to share some pictures, if you don't mind, then you can see. Well, you can see Anita Delgado. She's on the left, and Victoria, she's on the right. Anita Delgado, she was very shy. I mean, her sister, Victoria, you can see her on the right. She was more talkative than her. She was very shy all the time. Even when she met our king, I would like to talk about destiny. Destiny is very important nowadays and in that moment as well. Anita Delgado met our king, Alfonso, when she was 10 years old in Malaga. Before going to Madrid, she was selected in the school to give a bunch of flowers to our king because he came to Malaga in south of Spain, because Malaga was suffering a lot because of very strong raining. There were a lot of floods. People were very sad, and they have a lot of economical problems in Malaga. Then the king decided to visit the city, and Anita Delgado was selected to give a bunch of flowers to our king. Then I want to show you Alfonso XIII. He was our king. He was the grandfather of our last queen, Juan Carlos, the grandfather. And he's the great grandfather of the new king in Spain, Alfonso XIII. Then Alfonso XIII arrived, and then Anita Delgado, she was very shy. Then she couldn't look at his eyes. Then she was all the time looking at the floor. And the king said, "Why you are looking at the floor, Anita? You are very beautiful. Look very high." Then when Anita Delgado left, the king said to his secretary, "I like this girl, please give her a beautiful fan made of ivory to her," because she was very kind. She was reading a poem, and she was giving me these flowers. This is important because later on, years later, Anita Delgado is going to meet Alfonso XIII when she married the Maharaja of Kapurthala. Then they became friends. And imagine destiny. She was a child. She was 10 years old when they met. Then she kept the fan, the ivory fan, all her life. When she moved to Bombay, to India, she kept the fan. And even when she died in Madrid, Anita Delgado had the fan. Now, in the legacy of Anita Delgado, we have the fan. This fan is very important for the exhibition we are organizing in Malaga, in Mumbai as well, in Mumbai, sorry, in India, and in some places in Spain, and for instance, in New York, is going to be the biggest exhibition about Anita Delgado. Then then let's go to the theater. Then the Maharaja was clapping a lot because he recognized Anita Delgado, and she was very shy. I was talking to this because she was a very shy woman, but she was very special with a lot of this special feeling. She had something special because the Maharaja, the richest man in the world, he could have the most beautiful woman in the world, but he decided to have Anita Delgado because he noticed something special in Anita Delgado. She was she had a very white face. She was very delicate, and he fell in love quickly. Then during the wedding, we have a terrorist attack in Spain. Yes, now it's happening, but in that moment as well, an anarchist from Catalonia, from Barcelona, arrived in Madrid. Then he was living in a hostel next to the palace, and then he was waiting for the parade, for the carriage of our king and our queen. The queen was she was the niece of the queen Victoria, the English queen, and she was the niece. Then they married, and then when they were going next to the palace, the bomb, the anarchist from Catalonia, he left from the balcony. He put the bomb in a bunch of flower. Then he threw the bomb, but he didn't kill the king and the queen, but he killed 30 people. There are a monument in Madrid. If you go to Madrid, there is a big monument. It's a homage to these people who died in that moment. Then they were very scared of the royalty, even the Maharaja, and then they decided to leave Madrid quickly because they thought it was the beginning of a war or something like that. And then Anita Delgado was a little bit sad because he couldn't see the Maharaja, but she was a child. She was 15 years old. What's happened then? Well, Anita Delgado, she continued writing beautiful letters with the Maharaja, but she was very naive. She was a child. She was 15 years old. And then I'm going to change the picture of, this is a painting. See, a lot of painters from different countries, they were delighted with Anita Delgado when she married the Maharaja. You can see her. This is a famous one. She's disguised as a flamenco dancer, and she has a lot of paintings from very, very important painters and photographers as well. Very famous one. All these paintings and all these photographs are in our legacy, and we want to use all of them in this big exhibition that is going to take place in Malaga in autumn, next autumn, and then it's going to go to some countries. Then going back to the the moment when they left, the intellectuals of that moment, I'm talking about Valle Inclán, Pío Baroja, Julio Romero de Torres, a famous painter. They were delighted with Anita Delgado and her sister, and they were taking care of them. Then Anita Delgado was writing very silly letters to Maharaja. Imagine the letter saying, "Hello, I'm here." Very, very naive letters. And then one painter, one of these painters, was going to the post to leave the letter because Anita Delgado, she was very young. She said to him, "Please, could you go and post my letter for the Maharaja?" Then when the Leandro Oroz, this is the name of the painter, went to the post office, Valle Inclán, the writer, the novelist, the Spanish one, he's very famous, very important in Spain, saw him, said, "Where are you going, Leandro?" He said, "I'm going to post the letter from Anita Delgado to the Maharaja." Then Valle Inclán said, "Okay, give me the letter, let's read it." This is forbidden. But in that moment, they thought, well, maybe she's going to write some stupid things. Let's change the letter. Then Valle Inclán, with other writers, very important writers and painters, they changed the letter. They wrote the letter in French, in very good French. Then this was the letter that was sent to the Maharaja. What's happened in India? The Maharaja got the letter. Then he fell in love. He fell deeply in love with Anita Delgado because was so beautiful the letter, was so romantic the letter, that he couldn't stand more. And then he sent his secretary, he was a Sikh soldier from India to Malaga, to Madrid, sorry, to Madrid. They were living in Madrid now, to convince the family to get married. Imagine for the family in Madrid. This is very funny. It's going to be very funny in the film. Imagine a very tall and very strong Sikh soldier arriving in Madrid. He couldn't enter in this small door, and when he was knocking on the door, the family was astonished because he saw this soldier with a turban, with the Sikh sword. And then he was convincing the family because he had a present, he has a purse made of diamonds. Then step by step, they were convincing the family. But the only um, reason the father gave to them to leave Madrid and going to Paris was to go together. Then the whole family, the father, the mother, the sister Victoria, and the nanny Joaquina, they moved to Madrid to chain Anita Delgado to become Anita Delgado as a princess. This is like the film My Fair Lady. If you have seen My Fair Lady, now is how the Maharaja is changing Anita Delgado. They are transforming Anita Delgado into a real princess. Then they taught her how to move, how to learn, how to talk, how to play golf, how to speak French fluently, how to dress, because she never saw a feather, a coat. She didn't know how to eat, for instance. For her, it was very new, everything, and for the whole family. Then they stayed together for some days, but the Maharaja decided to separate them in order to make Anita Delgado to learn faster. Then the family, they were in a palace in Paris, and Anita Delgado was with a woman, a French woman, Madame Dijon. Madame Dijon, she used to live because her husband was a soldier in Kapurthala. Then she was the right person to help Anita Delgado to become a princess. Then this was the moment when they married, but they married in an official wedding in Paris. Then they moved to London, they were traveling, but the Maharaja said to Anita, Anita, now the official wedding is going to take place in Kapurthala. Then you have to come to Kapurthala with Madame Dijon and with your servant, with your, yes, with Lola. She was from Malaga. She was from Andalusia. But you can say that you are coming to get married because British people, they don't see very well that the Maharajas get married with Occidental people. Then you have to come in secret. you can say that you're going to get married. Then Anita Delgado, she took a boat. Imagine the trip. She was very long. She was 15, 16 years old, no more than that. And she was very brave. I mean, she was very shy, but at the same time, she was very, very brave, because now we can travel, we can take a plane, we can. But in that moment, I'm talking about 1900. Who could go? Who could go to India so easily? I mean, in that time, she was she wasn't in love at all. I mean, she was a child. People are talking this was Cinderella. I mean, no, no. I mean, she was a. It's very funny because when she arrived in Paris, the Maharaja asked, "What would you like to have?" And then she was a child, 15 years old, and she said, "I would like a doll, a doll." I mean, he didn't say it a diamond, or she didn't say it a necklace, she didn't say it a crown. She said a doll, because she didn't have a real doll when she was a child. I mean, her family wasn't poor at all, but she decided to have a doll and try to make dresses for the doll. And then the Maharaja bought her the biggest doll in the shop in Paris. This is very funny as well. And then she didn't make love. It was her first moment with him, and then she was very shy, and then she learned how to love a man. Then through Anita Delgado and in the film, in the TV series, we are going to see different moments of love for her. The beginning with the Maharaja, and then when she's starting to love him, because in her diaries, she's writing, we have the diaries as well in the legacy, she's writing, I'm starting to love the Maharaja. I'm starting to love him, because imagine, step by step, it's not so easy for a person with 15 years old. Then when they separate at the end, I'm going to put another picture of the wedding. She's Anita Delgado in Paris. Then these things that she has on her hair. This is the peacock, the famous peacock that now the owner of the peacock is the cousin of the emir from Qatar, and it's a beautiful peacock made of a little big 20,000 brilliant stones. And the Maharaja bought this in Paris for the wedding of our king. And then Anita Delgado is wearing the peacock just before the wedding. You can see she's pregnant here. She was pregnant when she arrived in India. This is a very funny moment, because when she arrived in India, she was very quiet, because she couldn't say that she was going to get married with a Maharaja, as I told you, because British people, they didn't see it very well. Then when she arrived, she was surprised, because she thought that she was the only wife. Then when she arrived, the Maharaja was introducing the different wives. This is my first wife, this is my second wife, this is my third wife, and my fourth wife. Anita Delgado was the fifth wife in the story. And she was astonished, because she said, okay, I didn't know this. But she said, okay, well, he had four, but I'm pregnant. I'm going to have his baby, his son. But one of the wives said, I have two children with him. The other one said, I have three, I have two. Then she was crying. She went to the palace, and then she started to cry. And even when they came with the wedding dress, she started to cry again, because she thought she was going to dress in white like the Spanish queen, the Occidental wedding dress. And then they came with this cloth, red one, very long one, the sari. And she didn't, it was the first time that she saw this kind of costume. Then at the end, when she was dressed, she saw at herself in the mirror, and she said, well, I'm beautiful, I think. And then when she saw the Maharaja with all this costume for the wedding, then she relaxed a little bit. But there are a lot of culture shock. because she was Spanish, then it was in India, and then she learned how to live there in the palace. She was beautiful for that moment, but she was more than beautiful. She started to do a lot of things in India. She was trying to convince the Maharaja to change a lot of things in India. She wasn't happy at all when she saw that little girls, they were forced to marry with very old people, old men in India. She couldn't understand these kind of things. Then she talked to the Maharaja, trying to prohibit, to not to permit little girls marrying old men. And then she convinced the Maharaja as well, because in that moment, a lot of women, when their husband died, they were forced to burn in a fire with their husband. Then these kind of things were very strong for her. And then they tried to convince the Maharaja to change all these things. Maybe it was the culture in that moment, but for her it was something she couldn't understand. And she was helping, for instance, Gandhi. She met Gandhi later years after, and she was doing a lot of things for the freedom of India. She met Gandhi, she met Tagore, she met Dali, the painter, she met Picasso. She was a woman surrounded with a lot of very important writers, presidents in her life. Then she didn't want to be with the other wives. She stayed. She was apart. She was dressing occidental all the time, but in the official moment, she was wearing the sari, the official costumes. Then she was very modern for that period. And I'm going to show you other pictures. Yes, this is the atmosphere of the period of Anita Delgado and the Maharaja. I'm going to show you this video, and then I'm going to show you of the video of Madrid. I'm going to show you the Madrid that the Maharaja met when he arrived. And I'm going to show you 1 second. You can see Anita Delgado. She's old, and then she's remembering her life in India.
Only few women had the privilege to receive a palace as a wedding present. I am one of them. My name is Anita Delgado, Maharani of Kapurthala.
Based on a true story, the incredible love story of a young girl who charmed one of the richest men in the world, the Maharaja of Kapurthala.
I will make that Spanish girl my princess.
A passionate, exotic, and romantic drama.
I never thought I could fall so deeply in love with that man.
A luxurious and opulent lifestyle that no longer exists.
Those were the happiest years of my life.
The Princess of Kapurthala. The woman that seduced a whole kingdom.
Yes, this is the video of the TV series. Is going to be 4 seasons and then 6 episodes in each season. It's very big because Anita Delgado, she was in the most important events in history. She was helping the Indian soldiers. I mean, I want to say clear that, yes, the Maharaja, he had 4 wives, but none of them were helping the Indian soldiers during the First World War. Anita Delgado, she was organizing parties, she was organizing a lot of events in India to help the Indian soldiers during the First World War. She's like another film character, like Scarlett O'Hara in the film Gone with the Wind, a very strong, determined woman in life. Then she fell in love with India, and she felt India as her homeland. And then she decided to, on the basement of the palace, she put a lot of machines to make gloves, scarves for the winter, for the Indian soldiers, because they were suffering a lot during the First World War, because they were helping the French soldiers against the German soldiers. The Maharaja of Kapurthala, he was a good friend of France. He hates a little bit the English people. And then these things make the British very angry, because in the palaces in Kapurthala, he was playing French music all the time, the Maharaja. Imagine the British, they were very, very angry when they heard the Marseillaise, all this music, because he loved France a lot. And then he started to fall in love with Spain through Anita Delgado. He used to go a lot to Spain. He was in Andalusia because Anita Delgado was from Malaga, from Andalusia. You know that we have different autonomous regions in Spain. Anita Delgado was born in Malaga, and it belongs to Andalusia, the south of Malaga. That's the reason why she danced flamenco. Then we have flamenco because, well, it's quite near to India. The music, I'll play some music if we have time. I want to show you the music we are going to play in the TV series. And then she was helping the Indian soldiers. She created a lot of scarf, gloves. She went there, even to France, with the Maharaja on a boat to help, to be there in person. Then this is things that Anita Delgado did, but not the other wives. The Indian wives, they didn't do this. It's true that at the beginning, I mean, they accepted Anita Delgado step by step. At the beginning, they saw her as someone different. They didn't was very happy with her, but step by step, she was finding her place in the palace. And they were together for 18 years. This is a lot of time. They fell in love 18 years. What's happened? Anita Delgado, she fell ill. She fell ill in India. She had a baby, a son, but after, when she wanted to have another one, she had a problem. Then she had a kind of cancer. Then she had to clean her. I don't know how to say these things in English. Sorry, but she couldn't have more babies. Then she was sent to Kashmir to recover, and there, when she came from Kashmir 2 years after, the Maharaja fell in love with another woman. Then she was sad because she saw that she lost the favor of the Maharaja. And then step by step, she was feeling, she was a little bit crazy because she thought that she was going to be poisoned in the palace. Then she was crazy about snakes. She thought that someone was going to put a snake in the bed. This is very visual for the cinema, and we are going to prepare some scenes about this. And then she bought a special object for the kitchen, for the soup. It's like a pot. When you put poison on it, you can see that the pot changes its color. Then she bought this pot, because she thought that someone was to poison her. Well, at the end, she was very determined. She was very powerful, because the Maharaja was the most powerful man in the world. And she could say, no, you are not going to leave India. You're going to stay here forever. And I'm going to have affairs with other women. But he was in love with her. Then they signed a good agreement that they are going to be separated. They are going to separate, but they weren't divorced. She was going to continue being Maharani of Kapurthala till her death. Then, but the only condition was she couldn't get married to another man. Then she returned to Spain. She had a house in Switzerland, a house in Paris. She was very rich in all these countries. And then she used to go to Malaga, to Madrid, and she bought a house in Madrid. And the Maharaja used to take care of her. Even during the Spanish Civil War, the Maharaja was scared because we have this horrible Spanish Civil War. And then the Maharaja took her to Portugal, because there in Portugal she was safe. Then I want to show you, I want to tell you that the Maharaja was taking care of her all her life, all her life. Then he was helping her economically, and she couldn't. It's true that she had some affairs. She fell in love with a bullfighter. Yes, very Spanish, a bullfighter, Juan Belmonte. I'm going to show you pictures of this moment, the bullfighter. That was a very a sex affair with her because she was adult now. And I was Juan Belmonte. What is it? Bullfighter. Well, you can see. 1 second. Okay, Juan Belmonte. I'm going to change this. Here it is. Okay, Juan Belmonte, Batador de Toros, in Spanish, bullfighter. She fell in love with him. She had an affair, but he died. He committed suicide because the doctor said that he had cancer. Then he was very sad. And then he had a gun when he was traveling, when he was going to different bull rings in Madrid, in Spain. Then he used to travel with a gun. Then he committed suicide. And this was a very sad moment for Anita Delgado. After this affair, she had another one with her secretary. It was something secret she couldn't say because, as the Maharaja said, you can't get married. Well, the Maharaja, he had a lot of ones. He was with someone from Bulgaria, a Bulgarian girl. He had another Argentinian girlfriend. This was a singer. I mean, but they have a very good relation in general. And then Anita Delgado decided to come again to Madrid. She lived in Madrid till the end of her lives. She died in 1962. She was 62 years old. She was 16 and 60. Sorry, 62 years old, and then the Maharaja died some years before, and her child, the son, came to Spain because he used to come a lot. He loved Spain. He loved the Spanish football and the football team, and he liked the Spanish food. He liked some fried eggs with some sausages in the Spanish style, and some fried French fried. And this was his best food in Spain. He died because of cancer as well, and then he sold all the things, and that is the reason why we have all the legacy, because unfortunately we have, during the pandemic, during the COVID, we found all the legacy of Anita Delgado, and we bought all of it, and we want to create this big exhibition. I would like to show you before finishing, because maybe it's too late. I don't know, Farouk, tell me, is it okay?
Go ahead and show the film which you want to.
Yes, I would like to show you the video from Madrid and the moment of the terrorist attack. I think this is a very unique film that we had. It's a very short one. Then you can see the atmosphere that the Maharaja found in Madrid when he arrived, and this sad moment when the terrorist Niveles Square. And now you're going to see the royal wedding. You can see the carriage. 1 second. Well, you can see the people of that moment. This is the tram. This is the hotel where the Maharaja stayed. Sorry. Oh, sorry, stop it. Okay, I'm going. I touch. Oh, here. Now you'll see the wedding. 1 second. In one of these streets, they saw for the first time. Look, this is the carriage, this is the wedding of our king, and now you're going to see the terrorist attack. The screen is going to be white. It's the moment when the bomb explodes. Look now, you can see the horses on the floor, dead people. This is the moment when the Maharaja and the royalty left Madrid. Everybody is escaping from that. I think this is, it's incredible that we have this video. Someone was recording, and then that's the reason why we have this video. And then at the same time, let me put you the palace in Kapurthala. And now it's a school, it's a Sikh school, but this was the palace that he built, the Maharaja, and it was a wedding present for Anita Delgado. Now you can see the Maharaja. This is the Diamond Jubilee. It's a very short video.
At the age of 5, the Maharaja Jagatjit Singh came to the throne of his northwest Indian province in the heart of the Punjab. For 60 years he has ruled it wisely and well. Cooperating with the British government, he has modernized almost everything except its royal transport. He has built schools and colleges and hospitals. Today the Maharaja, in a lounge suit and flowing turban, inspects his guard of honor as his people pay tribute to their ruler. From every corner of the state they bring him gifts. They make obeisance before the Maharaja and his 4-year-old grandson. They weigh him with pieces of solid gold, which afterwards are distributed to the poor. And days of feasting end with a durbar and state procession, with the Indian sun shining down on gently swaying elephants and glittering gold, on the majestic pageantry of India.
Well, this is the atmosphere that we would like to create in our TV series. And then let me just, well, maybe the time, we don't have a lot of time, but let me show you the main things about the production. I'm going to show you, Farouk, if you don't mind, the books about Anita Delgado, the biography, and then let me show you the dossier. You're going to see the film director and everything about, what is it? Dossiers here. I hope I have, yes, the dossiers in English. Okay. In big. Good. I'll do it bigger. I don't know what's happened. Okay. Well, as you can see, well, the title is in Spanish. You can see some pictures of Anita Delgado living in India. This is a dramatic and passionate adventure, of course, for her. You have the synopsis. It's a young dancer from Malaga, lives in Madrid. She meets the Maharaja of Kapurthala, who falls in love with her. She's Anita Delgado, different pictures of her. We have talked to Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas, she is a Spanish and Cuban actress. She has done the last one, 007, with Daniel Craig. She's very famous now, and she's one of the candidates for this TV series. We have the treatment, some pictures, real pictures from the legacy of Anita Delgado. She used to disguise. She used to do a lot of parties in Kapurthala. She's dressed here as a gypsy woman. She was driving a lot. She was traveling a lot in some of the boats around the world. You can see her very, very young in this picture, and the Maharaja and some of the jewels. Well, this is part of this is the palace. It's very funny because the Maharaja wanted the main entrance bigger than the other ones, as you can see, for the elephants. He wanted to enter with his elephant. That's the reason why the main arc is bigger than the other one. You can see here Anita Delgado. You can see the jewelry and the Maharaja. Some pictures, Anita Delgado when she was younger. This was the Maharaja of Kapurthala, a good friend of the Maharaja of Kapurthala. Anita Delgado, this is a very famous picture, one of the best photographers in London. She has a big museum in London now, used to take photographs of Anita Delgado. So he said she's a beautiful, sweet, dreamy, and very shy young woman, as I told you. The Maharaja of Kapurthala. This is Don Angel, Anita Delgado's father, and then you can see Doña Candelaria, Anita Delgado's mother. You can see both Candelaria. This is the dancer group, Anita Delgado and her sister Victoria, with a dress as flamenco. Well, this is Anita Delgado, the train. The Maharaja has his own train, and then he has his own perfume. You can read Maharaja of Kapurthala. Then you can see the perfume. Historical events to highlight. She establishes an organization to send aid to the Indian soldiers, as I told you, who fought in World War I. She also travels to the war front in France and builds several hospitals there, which is reflected by the international press. She had a lot of documents by the president of the French Republic because she was helping a lot. Then she tried to stop weddings involving underage girls and also creates a fund to assist widows who were forced to commit suicide after the death of their husbands, jumping into the funeral pyre, as I told you as well. After the slaughter of Amritsar in 1919, Anita defends the dignity of the Indian people and supports the movement of not violent civil disobedience that years later was supported by Gandhi. I mean, you can see that she wasn't just a beautiful face. She was more than this. For this reason, we have to take care of this character of Anita Delgado. Now you can see that she had relations with Tagore and with Gandhi. This is an amazing picture of Anita Delgado when she moved to Switzerland. This was taken during a carnival in Switzerland. Then references from the film. You can see The Crown. We are creating something similar to the TV series The Crown, and Anna and the King with Jodie Foster and Xu Jung-fan. This is the atmosphere. This is the palace that now is a Sikh school in Kapurthala, in Punjab. Beautiful palace, very beautiful and very big. It's a copy of Versailles because he was very French, the Maharaja of Kapurthala. These are the locations. This was the location in Malaga. This was the Malaga, south of Spain, when Anita Delgado was born there. You can see one of the square. You can see fish shellers. They were selling fish in this. This is the way they were selling the fishes. This was Madrid in that period. Then that was Paris, because she moved to Paris to become a princess, a Maharani, the Paris of that period. That was India, some palaces from India. We were looking for location for the TV series. Some of the locations, some of the palaces where we are going to shoot the TV series. This is me. This is my story that Farruth was reading. This is my business partner, David Cottarelli. He's Italian, but he's living in London. He has very good relations with China, UK, that part of the world. He has done some productions. This is our British and Indian, because he has both nationalities, Indian and British, Michael Radford. He's famous. He has a Golden Globe. He's famous for Il Postino, The Merchant of Venice. We're going to have some international casting actors. And he was born in India, but he's living now in London. Manuel Estudillo, this is the Spanish film director. He's very famous in Spain. We are looking for the Indian one. This is the reason we're going to have another video conference tomorrow with some Indian investors and some Indian producers. Elizabeth Kedehei, she's the novelist. She's the writer of these two important books. She's the official biographer of Anita Delgado. The Princess of Kapurthala, you can see the book is one of them, and The Dream of the Maharani is the second one. She was born in north of Spain, and she's following this meeting because she said that her English is not so good. Well, mine is not so good as well. Sorry, I apologize again, but that's the reason why I'm talking more about Anita Delgado. And The Princess of Kapurthala. This is the dossier of the film. Well, I don't know if you have questions, Farruth. I think it's almost time. I don't know.
There are questions, Juan. But before that, could you tell us at what stage the production is? I mean, when do people expect to see it on their screens?
Yes, we would like to start shooting the TV series or the film, because we are moving from a TV series to a film. This is something that we are discussing with the Indian partners. We are thinking about the month of March. We are in the pre-production. We have talked to some crew in Spain, in London, and now we are talking to India. And we are looking for a big platform in India, because 70% of the production is going to take place in India and 30% in Spain. The part from Malaga, from Madrid, is almost is 30%, and the rest is in India. The language is going to be in English, in Spanish, some Spanish, and in Hindi.
Okay. And have you mentioned that the role of Anita has been cast? What about the role of the Maharaja?
Well, this is what we are looking. They are talking about some people from Kapoor's family. We are looking for someone. Well, I don't know if you saw the Maharaja, very handsome, the pictures I saw you, but we have to find a very handsome man. You know that cinema people, they want to see beautiful and handsome people. Then Ana de Armas, she's a beautiful girl. Maybe I have a picture of her. And then, because we have to show something special, no? This is cinema. Anita Delgado was beautiful for that period, but we have to look for somewhat actors. Look, I'm going to show you Ana de Armas. She's Ana de Armas. And the audience and the participants, they can see she's Ana de Armas. She's very famous now in Hollywood. And her face, she looks younger, but she is 35 years old. She knows the project. We are having some negotiations with her. And she could be, we have to use her as younger and adult. That's the reason why we decided to have Ana de Armas. I can show you some more pictures. Or maybe this is very small, but she's Ana de Armas. And then we have some Indian actors. I'm going to show you. Let me show you. Okay, this is another one from Ana de Armas. This is bigger. Maybe you can recognize her. This is during the Golden Globes awards. Okay. Her eyes are greener. Okay, she's perfect. If not, we have to use contact lenses. And she's Ana de Armas.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the Maharaja, some of the proposals. They are not the real ones, but maybe you know these people. Rachel, Michael. Oh. This is one of them. Well, this is one. Maybe you know him.
Shahid Kapoor.
Yes, Shahid Kapoor. And I have another one. Here is from a magazine. This is a fashion magazine.
John Abraham. I think.
Yes, we are looking for the best there. Then it's not signed, but we are looking for the best actors. And for the Maharaja of Kapurthala, we have Sandokan. This one, let me show you.
Sandokan will be Kabir Khan.
Yes, Kabir. Yes, Kabir Bedi. Yes, he knows the project. He's very deep. This is another one we are talking to Deepa. It's very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, because we need some wives. First wife, second wife, third wife, fourth wife. Then we are looking for Indian crew and a Spanish crew. I think it's going to be a very powerful project, international one. Then we want to show you the rich India in that period, because India was very, very big during these years. They were very powerful, and that's the reason why the Maharaja, he had all these palaces, all these things. I mean, it's a luxury that I think we are not going to have anymore, because it was so big that it's going to be difficult nowadays. But we want to show you this luxury, this great India, and then we have to create this atmosphere.
So Juan, in what language did the Maharaja and Anita communicate?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
In what language did the Maharaja communicate with Anita?
The language, you mean the language?
How did they communicate?
Yes, well, at the beginning, it was through translators. There was a translator from Kapurthala when he came to Madrid for the wedding. Then through this translator, the translator was trying to convince the family. Then French was very important because he used to talk in French very well. Then Anita, he started to learn French, and then they were communicating in French. Chérie, when they were in private, there was something more near, it was more close. But when they were with official people, then they had to talk. The Maharaja said, the Maharaja, but she used to talk Hindi and Urdu as well. And she was a very clever woman. She was a very clever, because she started to study, and they started. But at the beginning was French in French.
So there was another question. Are there any living relatives of either the Maharaja or Anita?
Yes, well, the son died without heritage, without sons, and well, he was homosexual. The son, the family knows this. The Maharaja knew, but he was forbidden in that moment in India, and Anita Delgado knew that her son was homosexual. Then he didn't get married. He was diplomatic. He used to represent India in Argentina, in different embassies. And the only family that we have is from Victoria, from Anita Delgado's sister. It's true there is a stepson from Victoria, and he's living in Madrid. His name is Manuel. But it's a very long line. I mean, it's from Victoria.
There was a question from somebody in the audience. Can you tell us something about the jewelry the Maharaja gave Anita?
Oh, the jewelry. The jewelry, part of the jewelry is in the cousin of Qatar's family. He has the main jewelry. We have some jewels, but they are not so important, me, myself. And the other one is our king, Juan Carlos. He used to have a girlfriend, Corina Larsen. Maybe you have followed this with a yellow press. It was something in secret. Then she bought or she had, I don't know who gave her the emerald, but she had, I'm going to show you some pictures because I have the emeralds from Anita Delgado. Jewelry. Where is it? Jewels. Oh yes. Okay, I'm going to show you. One second. Photos. I have so many things. Oh yes. Jewelry. Okay. Look. Emeralds. Yes. These are the emeralds from Anita Delgado. Amazing ones. And then now these emeralds, the owner of the emerald are, I'm going to show you the woman. This one. Well, when Anita Delgado died, his son sold a lot of things in Spain. The emerald, they were sold, and this lady on the left, she was someone from the nobility of Spanish nobility. Then her husband bought this emerald for her. She had to sell the emerald, and then now the emeralds they are on the necklace, on the neck of Corina. Corina, this blonde woman, she used to be the lover of our king Juan Carlos. This is something from the yellow press. And now you can see that they are the same emeralds.
Is that the current King Carlos?
Sorry there?
The current King Carlos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
One.
One observation by Sharon Irani. She says that Anita also had a connection to Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. She hasn't elaborated what, but she says that if you have the photo from the British Tatler magazine, that photo is very interesting.
No, I don't have these pictures. I have...
So maybe you two to get together, we'll exchange email addresses and she can tell you more about it.
Okay, it will be great. It will be great.
Yes. And so finally, what is the bottom line? When can audiences expect to see this on screen? I know there are many uncertainties involved, but what is your best estimate?
Could you repeat the question, because the conversation, the sound is not so good.
Sure. When do you expect to? When can we expect to see this on screen?
Okay. Well, we are talking about 4 seasons. 4 seasons means we are going to start shooting it in March. It means that well, the first episode, it's 40 minutes each episode. We are talking about 6. Then it's 7 weeks, more or less, the shooting. Then we are talking for summer, if everything goes well, for summer. We are talking about 2023.
Mm-hmm.
2023. In next time, because we have to the pre-production, the production, the development, then it has a lot of steps.
So Sharon is a film historian. She mentions that Anita also was, the Maharaja was very chummy with Mussolini.
Not simply a film historian, Farooq. Let's not be too reductive.
Sorry?
I said not simply a film historian. Let's not be too reductive.
Reductive?
I said I'm not simply a film historian.
I meant it as a compliment, Sharon.
Yes. No, it's okay.
So she mentions...
Hola, Juan, ¿qué tal?
Hola.
Mi hermanos en Barcelona.
Ay, You speak Spanish very well.
Poco en español. So
Sorry, my English wasn't so good. Sorry a lot.
So Sharon mentions that the Maharaja was very pally with Mussolini too, and she's pointing out the contradiction between the views of Anita and the Maharaja. And
Yes,
she mentions that the Maharaja also visited South America.
Yes, he went there, and then he traveled a lot to Spain. They traveled a lot to even to America, North of America. They came here to San Francisco for the international exhibition. They were very famous. Everybody wanted to see Anita Delgado and the Maharaja. Even when they were, how you say it, for the premiere, no, when they were building new boats like the Titanic or things like that, they were invited. They were invited for the presentation of all these boats, and they were traveling all around the world. And they were very famous people in a lot of famous magazines. Everybody wanted to follow Anita Delgado. She was like Grace Kelly in that moment, like Carolina de Monaco from Monaco, but she was more than a nice girl. She was doing a lot of things for the Indian soldiers, as I told you. She was helping a lot, and a lot of presidents from Spain, from France, they came to Kapurthala. They were guests of the Maharaja. They were a very good relation with kings, queens, and presidents. And this is something that Anita Delgado lived, and she's very in Madrid. I usually go to the tomb and I pray a lot. When I go to the tomb, well, this is me. Sorry, this is me. When I go to the tomb, I clean the tomb, and I feel very well when I'm there. I speak to her and I ask for help. I said, Anita, you live a very interesting life. Help us. Let the people know your story. Because when she died, she was very sad because she wanted to talk. She wanted to tell the whole world her life, but she couldn't do it. She contacted a famous Spanish writer to write her memories, but he died. This writer died. She lived in Valencia, in Spain, and she couldn't express and now the niece, Anita Delgado niece, Victoria, she called the biographer. She was telling everything about Anita Delgado. This is why the biographer wrote The Princess of Kapurthala, the real book about Anita Delgado. And we have the rights of this book to do the TV series, to make the TV series.
There have been a few questions about whether the exhibition is going to be in Mumbai too.
Yes.
There's a lot of excitement about the exhibition. There are a few questions coming in.
Yes, because through the Indian ambassador in Spain, he's really nice. He's helping a lot. He would like to help us with the exhibition in Mumbai, and he's helping a lot with the project. And then in New York as well, because Christie is New York, he wants to help us with the exhibition, and in some parts of Spain, and in Amsterdam as well, and in Qatar. We are trying to move the exhibition all around the world, because we have 500 things from Anita Delgado and from the Maharaja. And I'm talking about very expensive paintings and expensive things from the Maharaja, letters from the Maharaja, something that I don't need. I mean, I like these things, but I don't want to have these things at home. These things must be in a museum, in an exhibition. That's the thing. I'm talking to the mayor of Malaga in south of Spain. Because, look, I'm going to show you because the government in Madrid, the town hall in Madrid, they put a plaque in the building where Anita Delgado lived and died. This has been done as well in Malaga. They put another plaque 2 weeks ago before coming here to Miami. Then let me show you what I did in Madrid with the plaque. I want to show you, this is beautiful because I put two dancers, flamenco dancer, it was like a homage for Anita Delgado and some Indian dancers as well. 1 second. Videos. Beautiful. This is the presentation in Madrid. It was on the street. Well, you can listen the Spanish music that is very related, is quite similar to the Indian style, because this music, flamenco, comes from India. Imagine Anita Delgado, so young. This girl is 15 years old, the same age of Anita Delgado when she met the Maharaja. I'm going to show you the Indian, the ambassador talking, okay? When we put the plaque of Anita Delgado in Madrid.
Hola, namaste and sat sri akal. I say sat sri akal because in Punjab or Kapurthala the greeting is sat sri akal. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Embassy of India and the Government of India to be here this evening on a very unique and a special occasion. Relations between countries, any two countries, is usually said to rest on political relations, economic, commercial, cultural, and people to people. But today what we are celebrating is relations between people and royalty. An ordinary girl, a common girl from Madrid, marrying into royalty and changing lives, changing relationship between our two countries, and that is why it is such a pleasure and privilege to be here this evening to celebrate a life, a place of birth, place of stay, and also in a way to look forward to putting this wonderful story into permanence through media and television and films. So all in all, we would wish the organizers, thank you, the City Hall for being present, Juan Antonio Casado, the producer, for organizing this event. My role today is to read out a short passage from the book about Anita Delgado. It's a full page, but I don't think I will read the full page because of the setting. But let me begin, and I quote. After a while, the most important priest came to us, and with his thumb dampened with the power of reddish saffron made a little mark on our foreheads. The Maharaja came closer to me and explained that it was for us to be always in harmony, and signified that the prayers had finished and the civil ceremonies would begin. First we stood up facing one another, and His Highness lifted the veil from my face so that all could see me, which was a symbol that we were married. The prince did the same with his and took off the pearl curtain. Music played and the guests applauded. Now the priest came up and put flower garlands on us, and I was very happy. Mine were white of round jasmine like the ones from Seville. Let me also then finish it. When the ceremony finished, my husband sat himself on the big scales and they weighed him. The equivalent of his weight being the amount of food to be given to the poor of the kingdom. Then they weighed me with the same intention, and I told myself, very few are going to feed with my food since I only weigh 52 kilos. Finally, The priest presented me with a sweet on a silver salver that I had to eat. The taste was similar to the potato, and he told me it was to represent fertility. Thank you.
Then that was a
Wish
very...
the sound was clearer. We couldn't hear much.
Because we are in the street.
Yes.
In the street.
Yeah.
Then what I want to show you, the music we played from India. This was the... Okay, I think this one. Yes. Then the embassy of India in Madrid, he organized Amazing.
Thank you. That was
Beautiful.
lovely. And it draws a similarity between our cultures.
Yes, I mean, you can see it, the movement of the arms, everything, it's flamenco. It's like Anita, well, you can see in this video as well. Look, if you have...
Yes.
Look. It's similar. Look, it's incredible.
was lovely.
Allá nació Thank you so much, Juan Antonio. This was a real mix of various elements which you put into the talk today. I'm sure our audiences would have found it very interesting, and I'm sure they're looking forward to the release of the TV series very soon. We wish you all the best with your venture and hope you cast the Maharaja very soon. And I'm sure, like I said, we are looking forward to watching this very soon.
Thank you very much to you, to all the people that they were following this story. And well, I would like to apologize my English again, but I wanted to show you.
Please don't.
I would like to show you what was Anita Delgado, the importance of this exchange between India and Spain. And through the eyes of this woman, we are going to see a wonderful world. We are going to see a new culture, because she loved India till the end of her life. And then we hope that we are going to create a very beautiful TV series for India, for Spain, and for the whole world. Thank you very much, and all the luck.
All the best.
For all of you. Thank you.